Hey, welcome. If you're looking for a clear, actionable way to get out of debt, you have absolutely come to the right place. Today, we're going to dive into a powerful strategy that's all about moving you from that feeling of financial stress to financial health. So let's just jump right in.
And isn't that the truth? It can feel like you're standing at the bottom of a giant mountain, just looking up. The source material we're exploring today gets it. It starts from a place of empathy, acknowledging how overwhelming this can all feel. This isn't about blame, it's about finding a real path forward, one small step at a time.
So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to meet a persona called Bleedin Steven to really understand the problem. Then, we'll get into the winning strategy, the snowball method, and I'll give you a concrete action plan. We'll also quickly compare it to the avalanche method, touch on a few other powerful options, and then wrap it all up by talking about your journey into the black.
All right, first up, let's talk about this character from our source material, Bleedin Steven. I know, it's a pretty intense name, right? But it's designed to capture a very specific and honestly a very relatable stage of financial struggle. So think of this less as a label and more as a starting point. It's that moment where it feels like your finances are just bleeding out, where the debt seems to be calling all the shots. But here's the most important part. It's also the exact moment where putting a clear, simple plan into action can change everything.
And for this exact situation, for this Bleedin Steven profile, the source material has a very strong recommendation. As you can see right here, it points to one strategy as the most appropriate first step, the debt snowball method. So what is that? And why is it the top pick? Let's find out.
Okay, let's get into the strategy itself. We're about to break down the snowball method. And we're not just going to look at what it is. More importantly, we're going to uncover why it works so incredibly well for so many people. So here it is, the core definition. With the debt snowball method, you list all your debts not by their interest rate, but by their size, from the smallest total balance all the way up to the largest. Then you pour every extra dollar you have into destroying that smallest debt first. And this, right here, is the secret sauce. The real power of the snowball isn't about complex math. It's all about psychology. You know, by going after that smallest debt first, you're setting yourself up for a quick win. And let me tell you, the feeling of completely paying off a debt, no matter how small, is a huge boost. It builds momentum. It gives you the confidence you need to keep going and tackle the next one.
All right, knowing the theory is one thing, but putting it into practice is where the change happens. So let's get down to business and map out a simple, step-by-step action plan to get your own snowball rolling.
It really is as simple as 1, 2, 3. First, you get everything out in the open. List every single debt, smallest at the top. Second, you focus your attack. You pay the minimums on everything else just to stay on track, but any and all extra money gets thrown at that number one debt on your list. And third, this is the game changer. Once that first debt is gone for good, you take the money you are paying on it and add it to the payment for the next debt in line.
And this is why it's called a snowball. Just like a snowball rolling downhill, your payment amount starts to pick up speed and size. As you knock out each debt, you roll that old payment into the next one. So the amount you're throwing at your debt grows bigger and bigger and bigger, allowing you to knock out the larger debts much faster than you thought possible.
Now, it's only fair to mention that the snowball isn't the only game in town. To give you the full picture, let's do a quick side-by-side with its biggest rival, the debt avalanche method.
So here's the key difference, and it's all about focus. The snowball method is your motivational coach. It's all about behavior, getting those quick wins by tackling the smallest balance first. The avalanche method, on the other hand, is your hardcore accountant. It's pure math. You target the debt with the highest interest rate first, which over time will save you the most money on interest. So which one is better? It depends on you. Do you need the motivation of quick wins, or are you disciplined enough for the long haul? For our Bleedin Steven profile, the source argues that initial psychological victory is what's most important.
While the snowball is an amazing place to start, it's good to know you have other tools in your financial toolkit. So let's briefly touch on a few other options that our source material brings up.
Yeah, so you've got a few other paths you can explore. You can try negotiating directly with your creditors for better terms. A debt consolidation loan is where you bundle multiple debts into one single, hopefully lower interest payment. Debt counseling brings in a professional to help guide you. And then in very serious situations, there's a legal process called sequestration. These are definitely more advanced moves, but it's good to know they exist.
Okay, so we've covered the why, the how, and the what-ifs. Let's bring it all home and talk about the single most important part of this whole thing, taking that first step on your own journey from red to black. And really, this is what it all boils down to.
You can analyze things forever, but nothing, and I mean nothing, changes until you actually start. Picking a strategy, whether it's the snowball or something else, and committing to it, that is the moment you start winning. That's the first real step.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Don't worry about the whole mountain right now. Just focus on the first little hill. What is that one single, smallest debt you have? What's its name? What's the balance? And what can you do today to start knocking it out for good? Because that's where this whole incredible journey begins.